Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Surrey. Hopefully you guys are having a great Monday so far. I just wanted to get out here on your job site. I just sent you my response email from that email and message you sent me today. So hopefully you guys have had some time, or will be able to have some time to sit down and review my responses to that. But I wanted to get in here and kind of show you what we've essentially got accomplished. I know you guys have probably seen everything so far, and then kind of the direction that we're headed to over the next couple weeks here. So obviously, as you guys can see, something we got accomplished last week was that cabinet install. That's always a big milestone for us that is able to let us continue on with some more things here. So the next thing that we're going to be looking at doing here, moving into this week, is we're going to be installing all the shoe molding that goes down here. There's several places throughout the house where we had to hold off on the baseboard, waiting on the cabinets to come in. So you will also see locations like such right there get the baseboard and shoe installed pretty much at the same time. So there's several locations, mostly just like the bathrooms and stuff, where they have to come back and install or correct some of that baseboard, and then they'll get that shoe added. But that's definitely something that we're going to be looking at getting done this week. And then another thing that we're going to be looking at is hopefully getting some countertops installed here relatively soon. That's always a big milestone for us also. And then once we get that countertop installed, we are actually able to go ahead and start moving into the backsplash. I don't know if you guys got a good look at the planning center here. I think that'll come out nice. It always looks really good once we get the countertop installed. It kind of completes that install. Again, as we walk through the house, you know, essentially where we're at is what I call fit to finish. And if you guys remember from that build quality introduction phase, this is probably my least favorite time of the build, just because, as you guys have probably already noticed, this is kind of when, you know, all that fit to finish stuff gets installed, and then, you know, mistakes do happen. And of course, we're never able to get those mistakes corrected right away. Sometimes they have to either order parts, or stuff is on back order, like, you know, your dining light right there. So essentially what they do is they just install what they can until they get that part in, and then they'll come back and install it. There's several times, again, throughout the schedule as we work through fit to finish, where we actually have time built into the schedule to come in and complete any sort of punch work and complete our inspections on our end. So, you know, you'll see me working on stuff like this, where I'm just going in and correcting some of the corners that I see with the sheetrock and whatnot. So again, it's organized chaos is what I always like to call it. So you might start to see some of these repairs happening as we continue on through construction. You know, just because we are in fit to finish does not mean that we are 100% complete with a lot of the installs. So this is kind of the area where we start to kind of tighten those screws up a little bit on the fit to finish stuff. I want to try to be about 98-99% complete with the house by the time we get to our walkthrough portion. Again, our walkthrough pre-closing orientation is going to be a good time for us to walk the house together, talk about your options, talk about your warranty. It's a good time to express any concerns or comments that you guys have at that point in time. Hopefully I've pretty much caught everything that needs to be discussed, and it's already in the works if it's not already fixed by the time we get to our walkthrough, but sometimes that's not always the case. Another thing that we're supposed to have done this week would be the carpet. These guys were actually scheduled today, so we still got a little bit of time left in the day. I've sent some correspondence off to that vendor to see if they're going to be able to make it in here for us today, but should have some carpet going in here relatively soon. But again, that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is, again, why we're at our rough paint stage, just because these guys come in and complete all their installs, and stuff gets kind of dinged up and scraped up a little bit. But we do have multiple opportunities, again, throughout the rest of the schedule to come in and conduct some point up. We go through a final paint and drywall point up process, and then we go through a blue and green tape process twice before we actually close on the house. So it works out pretty well. Also got power release to the house. That's always another big milestone for us, so we can come in and start doing the hot checks on all the electrical, make sure all the wiring is correct. If there's any corrections that they have to make, they put together their own punch list, and then actually come in and make all those corrections that are needed on their punch list. Plumbing trim is one of the last things that gets done as we get through fit to finish. So once you see that plumbing trim get installed, water gets released to the house, and they do a QC on that. You kind of know we're getting towards the end of fit to finish. Once we get done with the plumbing trim, that's about the time that I actually come in and we start conducting our inspections on our end, just to make sure, again, we got all the parts and pieces that we need, and then it's our opportunity to come in, like I said, and kind of tighten the screws a little bit on the overall quality of the house. So this is definitely, like I said, this is the rough portion of your guys' fit to finish. It does get a lot better looking than this, but like I said, this is why it's always my least favorite time of the build, just because, you know, a lot of these installs, it looks like stuff is done, but it's not really done. There's always a lot of punch work that needs to be done after all these installs get done. So just bear with me on that front, and like I said, it always looks good by the time we get to that closing. So just walking through the guest bedrooms upstairs at this point in time. Kind of got the same layout going on in both of these bedrooms. Also got the AC on the house. It's always good to have that started up, ready to go. Makes it nice for those guys that are coming in to complete their installs. They really enjoy having a little bit of AC on the house, so I don't have to stand in here and work when it's 90 degrees inside. All right, but like I said, we're pretty much just working through fit to finish here over the next couple weeks here, and then once we get past that, we'll be basically at our punch out time. So as always, you know, if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, just feel free to reach out to me, and I'll always do my best to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Other than that, I hope you guys have an excellent week, and I will see you guys on the next update.